Hey everybody, it's Marvin here. We're approaching the end of the year, and I'm sure this in particular hasn't been the normal year for everyone, where not exactly what we hoped for happened. But in a given year, would it really have been that much different, apart from a pandemic? Today, I want to share with you what we could do to map out next year so that you can stack your chances for success. So before we do that, there's a few things that we need to look at first. Number one are the problems that most people face. At the end of every year, before the start of a new year, what we tend to do is we come up with some to-do lists. The problem with to-do lists is that they're never ending. The moment you finish one task, there's another to do, and then it always gets added on. And then the next thing we do is that we tend to set the results and then we just focus on the results as opposed to the drivers, the things that are actually making it happen. So it's kind of like wanting to lose weight, and our main action is to check our weight on the scale on a weekly basis. The third one would be because we haven't mapped things out, we tend to have a reactive year. We tend to sort of go with the flow, see what happens, and we're just going to do it. Which unfortunately in some instances will mean that we would miss some important dates. We'll be traveling or working during a loved one's birthday, missing a school play for our child, and other things like that. And the fifth one would be that we always come up with this number one excuse for people to not do the things they know they should be doing, which is I don't have time, because they haven't been mapped out, they haven't been scheduled, which would leave us basically at the end of the year feeling we were busy at that year, but we're not exactly productive, and we get what we get, right? Whereas on the other side of the equation, the opportunities, if you will, um, instead of thinking of to-do lists, it'll be better if we can think in terms of when am I going to schedule my execution time? When am I going to do the things that needs to be done so that I can get the results that I want to have? And then that would allow us to focus on the actual actions. So if we're going to lose weight, as the example before, instead of thinking about how much do I weigh each week, think about when did I do the exercise during those schedules, right? Am I following my exercise regime? Am I following my meal plan? So focusing on the actions as opposed to the results. The third one would be, setting ourselves up for success. So we want to be a bit more proactive. When will I block my time to do those things that I need to do? And which would allow us to then to be there when it counts. Be there when it counts for our loved ones, be there when it counts for our company, be there when it counts for ourselves. And so that we can turn the shoulds into done, instead of wishing, oh, I should have done that, I should have done that. But well, I did this, I did that, I did that. And that will allow us to have a more productive feeling and giving you a higher chance of success. So how do we do that? I'm going to share with you a simple framework, three-step one, that'll help you think as you plan for the next year. So the first thing is that, as most people tend to do at the beginning of every year, is we set what our intentions are. These are the goals, these are the results, these are the actions, but basically the commitments we're telling ourselves that we're going to be making so that next year will be a better year, right? Or a great year, up to you. After the intention, most people would then sort of pay attention to it, right? So just to keep it as an example, say we want to hit, I don't know, $5 million of revenue. And then every week, every month, they'll be looking at that revenue number. So there's times that is actually scheduled in where they pay attention to their intention. Or in the case of the person that wants to lose weight, they step on the scale on a regular basis to pay attention to their current weight. But what's usually missing from most organizations and most people is the final step, which is the permission. This is when we actually block time to do the things that matter to us, right? So we want to go from basically, you know, sort of letting things happen, to we want to move to more intentional way. Intentional year, right? We want to make sure it's from our attention, we go from whenever. We want to make sure that this is scheduled, right? We want to know when we're supposed to be looking at these things. And we want to also go from when I can. We want to make sure that because of this permission, we want to block the time for your priorities. All right, so 3 simple steps for you to consider as you plan for next year, which is get clear on what your intentions are, get clear on how you will be paying attention to these things, whether it's a scoreboard, whether it's a report, and how often you're going to be looking at those things and who needs to be looking at those things. And the third one will be make sure that you have a permission. Make sure that you block time off for people to execute what they need to execute in order to get the result that we want to get. In other words, your calendar will reflect on your results. So have a good end of year and enjoy your planning for next year. Take care.